From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
One ball, corner pocket.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi
And Corey Clark.
Wake up! It's not quite Wake Up Warchant, but Corey and I hanging out with you for the next 15, 20 minutes or so talking about Florida State coming up short over in Oklahoma City in the Women's College World Series. As such, let's help our sponsors out because they help us out. They motivate us to do this show as much as we possibly can. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, check them out. cptallybar.com, that is the website. Daily lunch specials weekdays Monday through Friday for only $8.99 with a side dish of your choice. Fridays, chicken strip basket. It's hand-breaded. They'll toss it in the sauce. They'll put the sauce on the side. They'll do whatever you want because that's how much they care about you over at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. cptallybar.com is the website. You can always have the QR code on your screen. VitaminEnergy.com. What are you folks waiting for? Shake it and take it. Promotes positive mood, better focus, stronger immune systems. Vitamins, energy. Buy one, get one free when you use the promo code WARCHANTBOGO over at VitaminEnergy.com. Remember, there's Noles at the helm hooking you folks up. And then MyBookie.ag, promo code WARCHANT over there. Instant cash deposit bonus. Leverage your bet. Get the most out of it. And best of luck. Major League Baseball, NBA Finals, whatever we have left until the college football season starts. Corey Clark joining us from parts unknown. Where are you right now, my friend?
I'm in Hoover, Alabama, getting ready for a baseball tournament here for Brady for the next, I guess, 3 days, maybe 4 days, depending on how they play, but at least 3 days. So get to spend a lot of money and go to a different state to watch him play other 14-year-olds. Living the life.
This feels like a big one, though, man. Multi-night stay?
Yeah, this is like for this age group is like a big deal. Like it's, this is the kind of tournaments where coaches would come to recruit. And I'm sure there will be some college coaches here. Not for my son, not even close yet. But next year when he's 15, these are the kind of tournaments where there's like 80 teams from all over the country. And they're, of course, they have to play a team that won it last year. That's their first game of the tournament. So, hey, look, it's not about winning and losing. They're probably going to lose a couple out here. It's just about having fun and spending money.
Okay. Was it just about having fun for Florida State in Oklahoma City? I mean, good gosh, that team they went up against was pretty solid. 3-1, the final score on Thursday night. Oklahoma wins the national title for the third time in a row. I think it's their seventh in program history. And we had hope there, Corey. I missed out on the third inning because I was editing a video that had 7-on-7 football because it's June. What else am I going to be doing, I guess? So I missed out on the third inning, which I guess maybe you can walk us through just how enthralling that was, much of a roller coaster. But the fact that Mac Leonard has been struggling at the plate this entire postseason, basically, hits a solo home run. I don't know, man. I got ahead of myself. I'm like, Ira, hope we packed an extra pair of slacks. They're going to push us a game 3. Sandra Cox going to be able to bring us home, and one run's going to be enough. And then Oklahoma, I guess, shows kind of the pedigree of a champion. What were your big takeaways? I guess we can go small picture, big picture. Let's just look at the game from Thursday night. How do you think it played out? Was that the way you saw it playing out? Did you wish that you saw Kat Sandercock beforehand, perhaps?
Yeah, hindsight is always 20/20 or how 2010. It could be 21. 2020 is just normal vision, everyone. 2010 is great vision. You could have started Sandercock in game 1. I would have just because that's what you did against Georgia. And I just, the odds of you winning when you don't pitch your ace against their best pitcher in game 1, you're trying to steal some innings and hopefully you can scratch together a run or two against what is her name? Jordy Ball.
Yeah.
And then you bring in Sandercock with the lead. But once Oklahoma scored off McKenna Reed in game 1, we're talking about, there was no reason to use Sandercock. So I get why she brought in Dubois and Royalty and all those pitchers, because once you're down 2 or 3 runs to Jordy Ball, good luck. You're not winning, so save Sandercock. So game 2, it was really working out. Look, Aslan, look. So if you missed the third inning, well, that was the inning. I think that was the inning Oklahoma loaded the bases with nobody out and did not score. They had 2 players thrown out at home and then a fly out that Mudge makes a really nice running catch on. And then Florida State has first and second 1 out, and Harding hits what should have been a 3-run homer. and Jada Coleman goes up and makes a Willie Mays catch. All right, sorry, makes a Kaylee Mudge catch. It was as good as the catch that Kaylee Mudge made in the game before, but it was much bigger stakes because Mudge did that when it was 5-0. This was a 0-0 game, and if she doesn't make that catch, it's 3-0. Sandercock has a 3-0 lead going to the top of the fourth inning, and then Leonard hits a home run in the fourth inning. So now you're thinking, okay, it's a 4-0 lead. You probably win the game. You can't say for sure because Oklahoma's a juggernaut, but that play won them the game, I think. I mean, I just think that was the game-winning play, but that's what great teams do, and she's an incredible player. She was the consensus number one player in the country coming out of high school. She's lived up to it. She's only a junior, so hip, hip, hooray. Jordy Ball's only a sophomore, so hip, hip, hooray. Like, we get to keep dealing with this over and over again. But, look, man, I tweeted it. Like, Florida State is a great softball team.
Program.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about just this specific year.
Yeah.
It is a great softball team. They just went up against the greatest softball team of all time. And I guess you can nitpick, and I'm sure Arizona fans that are listening to this show or UCLA fans from all the yesteryear, I know we get a big softball audience for this show, might disagree, but they just went 61-1 and finished with 53 wins in a row. That's the greatest season a softball team has ever had. And so there's no shame at all in losing to them. There is a shame in the way that team acts, in my opinion. But I'm an old fuddy-duddy. I do not like the way that Oklahoma team carries itself a lot of the time. But you know what? They are incredible. And there should be no shame in losing to that team. And quite frankly, if she doesn't make that catch in center field, we're probably talking about a Game 3 later tonight. But the issue here then, Aslan, is the point I was trying to make. Even if you win Game 2, man, you are still there's going to be some pressure on Oklahoma, sure, but you are still up against it in Game 3. You going to pitch Sandercock all 7 again? Lonni doesn't like to do that. Are you going to start Mac Leonard? You got to face Jordy Ball, who would have been well rested, and you got a whopping 2 hits off her in 9 innings. So odds are you probably weren't going to win Game 3 anyway, and that's the issue with Oklahoma. That not only do they have an incredible offense, just loaded with 1 through 9, they can all hit, 8 of them double-digit home runs. I just looked up their bios, all their bios in their roster. Like 8 of them or 9 of them were top 10 players in the country coming out of high school, including 3 players who were in the top 2, including back-to-back National Players of the Year, number 1 consensus players. So you have to deal with that. And it's just there's no margin for error. It's just going to be it's not impossible, but it's almost impossible to beat that team twice in a row. So Florida State went as far as they could possibly go. And there's no reason to be upset. I mean, there is a reason to be upset. You had a chance. Your season's over, and you didn't win the trophy. But, man, you bumped your head on your ceiling. That team's an all-time team. There's no shame in that at all.
Yeah. Afterwards, Lonni seemed to really, she was being asked by the local Oklahoma media basically to size that team up and, basically tell us how they're the best team ever. And, she's very complimentary of them. But she seemed to really kind of respect, I guess, their adoption and their immersion into analytics. That sounds like something that she was really kind of not hung up on, but that was something that might have been kind of a big part of their secret sauce, in addition to all these great players that you mentioned, Corey. So I wonder if that's something that Florida State can look into to try to get on that kind of level because, yeah, man, Florida State probably the way they were playing in Oklahoma City the last 10 days or week, however long it was, man, I feel like they could have played any other team in the country in a 3-game series. They would have won, except this one. So I'm disappointed for Lonni. I'm disappointed for Kat and Mac for them not being able to go out on top. But I also realize, greatness or whatever. But, man, that Oklahoma team was just silly good, man. And, Lonni said as much, when she was asked about the plan for tonight with Kat. It sounds like she kind of resigned herself that they weren't going to be able to sweep Oklahoma, which is a pretty intelligent kind of take. So it was not give up Game 1, but, they said they had some intel on Jordy Ball. They thought, I don't know what that means. They thought maybe she's under the weather. They could do something to get at her, but it was basically get to Game 2 to force a Game 3. And I guess that would be to your point. It's that if Kat would have been able to bring this thing home in a 1-0 game, or if Kaylee Harding's home run makes it over the wall and it's 3-0, Yeah, man, you probably just think that you're all hands on deck. You scratch and claw. That's been your motto this entire postseason. That would have gotten you across the finish line. But, it's that team.
That's what I just want. That's what I wonder about the decision to. And maybe, like I said, maybe they pitch Sandercock 4 or 5 innings in Game 3 too if they get a lead. But I know she's not going to pitch 14 innings in a row. So my thought was your best shot is hoping to get one with Sandercock in Game 1. If you win Game 1, whatever, man. Let Kaylee Mudge pitch Game 2. Let them run rule you. Who cares? And then you say you have Sandercock for Game 3, and that's your fighting chance. But look, man, Sandercock's as good as Florida State has ever had, and she still gave up 3 runs to this team.
And she was well rested, and
yes,
Jordy Ball wasn't, and then Jordy Ball can't. The
matchup. Look, so the thought is you can't score a lot on Jordy Ball anyway. So your best shot at winning a game is Game 2 because they knew that Jordy Ball wouldn't pitch Game 2 or wouldn't start. Yeah. So your number 1 versus their number 2 in Game 2 gives you a fighting chance to win Game 2, which it did. Like I said, you had a lead. I mean, you had a lead for all of, I believe, 11 seconds. But you did have a lead, and then you immediately give up back-to-back home runs. And again, that's what great teams do. They get behind, they start to feel some pressure, and they hit 2 home runs off one of the best pitchers in the country, back-to-back. I mean, applaud them for being awesome. But also, that was your chance to win Game 2, and then I just wonder what real chance you would have had in Game 3. But it's a stickball game, man. Crazy stuff happens. Maybe Mac Leonard gets some hard outs pitching, and then you scratch a run across, and then Sandercock comes in and is awesome. Like that was probably the route to take. Yep. But in reality, when you look at it, I just don't know that the puzzle pieces would have matched up well enough against this team. Again, they lost once all season, Aslan. I mean, you weren't going to beat them 2 times in a row, probably. Right. And I love this softball team, and I love this softball program, and they do have an unbelievable culture. And they absolutely thought they were going to win that game until Jordy Ball came in with a 3-1 lead. I pointed out to you and Ira in the text, it might not be the best sign when you've got players in the dugout already crying before the last inning has started. You weren't down 13-1. It was 3-1. You needed a base runner and a blast, and it's a tie game. But that's how good Jordy Ball is. So look, and the real question I think going forward is this the ceiling again next year? Is everybody? And I said this I feel like I said this back in March. Everybody was playing for second place, and that's exactly what Florida State accomplished. Was as good as they could possibly do. And what I worry about is next year could be the exact same thing. Unless you go pay that Stanford pitcher $250,000 to come pitch for you at Florida State, I don't know how anybody is going to be able to beat that team twice when it matters, unless Jordy Ball gets hurt. Because they have the best pitcher in the country to go along with that, ridiculous offense. So anyway, congrats to them. Their fans are still reeling from the Cheez It Bowl loss.
Yeah.
So they finally get to feel good about something. They lost Lincoln Riley to USC. God, I hope that stings. I hope all those people in that stadium on Thursday night, they go to bed and they feel great. Like, you know what? We just won a 3rd straight softball championship. I really like what Lincoln Riley, damn it. Like, Caleb Williams should be in Norman. Like, I just love that. I hope that stings. I hope that always stings. I want Jordan Travis to win the Heisman, but if he doesn't, I hope Caleb Williams wins it. It says Boomer Sooner as he's holding up the trophy again. Oh, that's how much I dislike their softball team, Aslan, and I shouldn't. They're excitable, young ladies. I think, honestly, because trust me, on Twitter, you saw it, people hate the way they comport themselves. Yeah. They do remind a lot of people of Tennessee baseball last year. The difference is Tennessee baseball got its comeuppance, and this team doesn't. And this team also gets to play 30 miles from campus. 13th. I mean, have you ever seen another softball game, Aslan, in your life where people are waving to the players on the field are waving to the crowd like it's Dion getting ready to catch a punt return?
Yeah, we need you here. Get up, everybody!
Crazy.
Come on!
And they can, because it's unlike. It literally is unlike any softball atmosphere on Earth. There's only one place on this planet that gets that riled up and that raucous for a softball game, and it's that place when that team is on the field. And Florida State's just had the misfortune of having to deal with it twice in the last 3 years.
Would you given up the Cheez It Bowl win for 2 wins in Oklahoma City? It's a national title, but 10 wins, all that momentum, I don't know. I mean, I still feel like we would have got the players that we got. I think you got it, right? It was just a Cracker Bowl game.
Man, but 10 wins,
chip.
It capped that season. It would have been a really depressing loss. For the sake of this conversation and this show right now in the moment on June 8th or 9th, yes, absolutely, I would have given up that Cheez It Bowl win. Absolutely.
24 hours ago, if we got to fire everybody to keep Mike. If Mike makes a playoff, everybody's on the chopping block. Oh, I love the consistency. All right, well then, kind of spinning it forward then as we wind things down here. Again, not a full show. It is the off season kind of, but we'll be. I got a full computer back up and running. We'll get some interviews hopefully next week. Camp season. We'll have Michael Langston on to talk about the recruiting weekend for the Monday show. But Lonni was just talking about. Listen, we're going to lose a lot of innings, obviously from Cat. We're going to lose what Matt gave us towards the end of the season. They've got bats. They got parts of their offense they're going to lose, but she feels pretty good about it. But she does say that it's probably going to be a little bit, anxious times as they try to figure out what's going on in the circle. Not quite Link Jarrett-esque issues going into 23 baseball-wise that softball is going to face 2024. But, I mean, you talk about playing for second place. Lonni also said the thing that is crazy about Oklahoma is that they continually get better every year, and that's what everybody else is trying to do is also get better. But they keep winning, and they keep getting better. So, how – is it just hitting the portal? Is it following the Mike Norvell blueprint, just getting ready-made arms? I think the pitcher they had that started for Oklahoma, she was from Michigan. You just got to find who's out there that wants to come to a warm weather place and help this thing keep humming along.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to hit the portal. Look, I wonder, but I don't know if Oklahoma might be changing the game a little bit, or if it's just like they're such an anomaly you can't try to out Oklahoma. Because, look, man, Florida State has, what would you say, 2 power hitters? Is Harding one? Edenfield and Harding? Were they the only ones that hit over 10? And Katie Dack, who barely played at the end of the year, they're the only ones that hit above 10 home runs all season. Yeah. And I think Oklahoma had 7 or 8 of those. So you're trying to think about how do you beat somebody like Jordy Ball, and the answer is you probably don't. But if you're going to, you're not going to string together 4 hits. You're going to have to hope for a walk and a home run and then hold on for there. So I wonder if you go into the portal, and I'm not going to mention any names, but you look up and down that lineup, and we all like them. They're all likable players, and they're all good players. But you got to go get some pop. I don't know if they changed their way just to compete with Oklahoma, because that's why she changed the way she pitched. And using so many arms in so many different ways. And at the end of the day, it gave you a fighting chance against Oklahoma, but you still lost because you only scored 1 run in 2 games. So do you need to change the offensive approach at all? Or is it just, they're too good, what does it matter? Because, look, there are power hitters out there. You can go get people that have hit 20 home runs in a season and bring them to Florida State. And I can promise you it's a very appealing place. By the way, I just looked at the NCAA. I got on the stats because this is what Corey Clark would do right now before we even get back to the hotel in Oklahoma City. I'm just rolling through the individual stats on NCAA.com, and I was like, I'm going to go get the best ERA in the country. Whoever has the best ERA in the country, I'm going to go get them to Florida State. Well, the best ERA was a girl from Stanford.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Kennedy.
2 and 3 were Oklahoma. 5 and 6 were Florida State. 8 was Oklahoma. So you're either going to get the Ashley Rogers from Tennessee, who is now a senior and has graduated, or you got to go get Sydney Nestor from Marshall. Now, do we want Sydney Nestor from Marshall? I don't know, but we got to go. You got to go get somebody. And I was going to say I'm going to look up home run leaders, and then we're going to be done with the show. But I'm telling you, I think this is what you got to do.
I think
you got to go get some. You got to get some people that hit bombs, man.
I think a girl from Louisville's she might have been. She was the leader at one point, but I think they obviously didn't play all that long in the postseason, so she might have got passed up. But I think Louisville had the home run leader
Taylor Roby finished second.
Okay.
She's a senior though, so she's done. and Kiki Malloy is a senior, and she at 25. But can I interest you in Taryn Kern, a freshman from Indiana who hit 23 home runs as a freshman?
All right, yeah.
And an infielder. And there's she's a senior. There's a girl from Grand Canyon that hit 21, and that's where Sydney Sherrill coaches. But she's a senior. So I think you got to make a run at Taryn Kern. And I think you got to go get you do have to go get, in all honesty, you got to go get a pitcher. But you probably need maybe a little more pop in your lineup. But I mean, look, man, Mudge is coming back, Kerr is coming back, Harding is coming back, Edenfield's coming back, Flaherty's coming back. That's your top 5 in the lineup are all coming back. Waycaser is back. Muffley is not back, so you do need a shortstop. And then I guess Dak will be back.
Yeah.
So you have 7. You have a strong lineup. You're losing Mac Leonard from the lineup, and you're losing Muffley, who was more for her glove. And Mac Leonard struggled mightily, but that was awesome that she got the home run in the College World Series game and pitched well in that game 1. But yeah, I think you need a little more pop in the lineup, and you need one more pitcher because McKenna Reed I think is going to be good, but I don't know that she's going to be like she's a stalwart yet. Yeah. So you're gonna have to find. Although she was 5th in the country in ERA. So again, Florida State is awesome, man. That was an awesome season. Yep. And I wonder if you get caught up in like, what do you have to do to beat Oklahoma? But Lonnie's not going to change really what she does with her program because why would she? She's got an awesome program. They are the second best. Literally, maybe any other pocket in softball history, Florida State might have won 2 of the last 3 national championships, right? It just so happens they run up against this behemoth. 2 out of the last 3 years.
Ryan Fitzgerald, though, don't forget Sooner fans.
And really, honestly, guys, I know there might be some Oklahoma fans that are listening to this, and just to I guess enjoy our misery. I just want to stress Caleb Williams. I don't know how to say it. And Lincoln Riley. I mean, he left y'all just in the lurch.
Lost Bedlam, then left you.
Yeah, I mean, come on, gang. And Lincoln Riley is awesome. And Caleb Williams could be the number 1 pick in the draft, and he just up and left your program? Yeah. Yikes. But, hey, anyway, congrats on the title. It's a real likable team you got there in Oklahoma City.
And also the top quarterback in the following class, like the Malachi Nelson kid. I think he was committed to Lincoln and Norman. But then, Lincoln went to Los Angeles. You guys got Brent Venables.
Hey, and look, we were very happy about that, weren't we, Aslan?
Yeah.
As Florida State watchers, it was very good for Florida State that Brent Venables got out of the ACC. So we do appreciate that, right?
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thanks,
and I know it's not all crossover softball and football fans. So, but anyway, this is an unbelievable run that Oklahoma is on. If you're wondering, they did sign the number 1 recruiting class coming in for next year too. So it's really fun. It's cool what is happening here. But I don't know what you do about it. I mean, you just got to get better. But I also want to say one thing before we left because we did not have a show after the fact. Tom and Jeff talked about it a good bit on their show, and obviously you could have had the best umpires in the world in Game 1. Or this whole series, it probably doesn't matter. You're losing to Oklahoma because Oklahoma's awesome. But, man, the call on Flaherty, and it's one call in a 14-inning contest, essentially, that you lost by a grand total of 8-1. So it wasn't the end-all, be-all. But when people get upset about officiating or umpiring, that call, and you can go onto my Twitter feed and see it from a day ago or 2 days ago. I mean, Aslan, you saw it, right?
Yeah,
it's in the other batter's box. Yeah. It's not close, and I guess I don't understand, and I thought this might be a fun thing for you and I to do this summer when I'm back in town, is to go watch like McKenna Reed pitch and be an umpire and see if we can call a strike or a ball.
Okay.
Because it can't be that hard. Because that pitch was in the other batter's box, and not just over the chalk. It was in the middle of the other batter's box. And if you don't remember, Florida State already has a leadoff runner on. on a hit by Enfield on a 3-0 pitch, by the way. So she had thrown 3 of the first 4 pitches were balls. Then she's got a 3-1 count on Flaherty. That pitch is ball 4. But it was the worst pitch of the sequence. It's literally a ball by a foot, and it's called a strike. And then Flaherty strikes out on the next pitch. So instead of first and second, nobody out, it's a 1 out and a runner on first, and then Leonard immediately hits into a double play to end the inning. There's a good chance Leonard is bunting there with first and second, nobody out, because she bunted in the earlier in the series, or maybe against Georgia, but I think earlier in the World Series she bunted. They threw it away and runs scored. So she's probably bunting in that spot, and if she gets it down, it's second and third with 1 out, and you have a real chance to score a run. And if you score a run right there in that spot, then maybe Sandercock comes and pitches in the 4th inning instead of not at all, and maybe you somehow steal game 1. Probably not. I'm not saying that one call cost them, but it's such an embarrassment to the sport to be that bad at it. That's all. That's all I'm going to say. And this is somebody that watched Eric Gregg in the 90s, so I know what bad umpiring looks like. This would have literally Eric. Well, I was going to say literally Eric Gregg was rolling over in his grave, but figuratively, let's just say, because literally that probably was not happening. But I mean, you know what I mean? Like Oklahoma lost. I mean, Florida State lost to a better team. But when you're Florida State, the margin for error is so thin, you can't be screwed by the umpires. And I'm not saying the umpire was out to get Florida State. The umpire was awful for both teams. The at bat before with Edenfield was 2 strikes down the middle that were somehow called a ball. But that specific pitch is so far outside, it's unhittable. It's not even swingable. You wouldn't even swing at it. And, of course, it was called a strike, and it changed the whole complexion of the inning. Might change the game. And it just bothered me. That's all. Just want to get that off the chest because I didn't get to talk about it.
All right. Can't wait for the robots to get here, man. Can't wait.
Amen. Right, brother?
Yeah.
What do you think that – I was always wondering, so how would that work with a robot umpire? Like as far as do they just announce it over the loudspeaker strike?
Yeah, just the color. Just like in tennis, right? Like don't they have the system that if it hits the line, like it just lights up?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
there's
tennis,
not lighting up in tennis. What do you mean?
Yeah, there's like a light, there's like a bulb I think that goes like when the serve is like in or out. Like if it's on the line, like it'll actually because they'll go to their VAR or whatever, their video assisted replay that like soccer has. I think an actual light will go on, and that's why you'll hear like a groan, like oh, like and that's why they're like I thought it was in, and it says it was out. I'm pretty sure there's some sort of visual aid.
So what do you think so a light would go on in the stadium? Like how do we know it's a called strike, I guess, as a crowd, as a fan?
And the backstop where the ump is, like at the backstop, I bet there's going to be like 2 bulbs. Like one will be green, one will be red. When it's a strike, it's red. When it's a ball, it's green. And if you're the batter, there's probably something like around the batter's eye maybe, on top of the batter's eye that's going to signify to you what just happened.
Okay, all right. But, I want to hear it too. I want to hear like a robot sound saying strike or something.
Like Johnny Five? Johnny
that's
Five
part of the
there.
fun.
All right.
Yeah.
See what
old school reference. There you go.
See what
Short
we can
circuit.
do for that.
But I'm about it, man, because that's embarrassing. The softball umpiring is embarrassing. It's too good a sport. It's too big a sport now to have. And I did appreciate the ESPN crew calling it out, at least a little bit, and saying that ball was in the other batter's box. And then when McKenna Reed was being called for that nonsense, saying this is ridiculous. I do appreciate that. I just wish, I just wish they'd get better umpires, I guess. Anyway.
All right, that's a wrap for us. Hope you all have a great weekend. Stay connected to warchant.com. Michael Langston, Matt Lasser, getting you all the info when it comes to recruiting. I think I might even be an elite camp going on Saturday, so your guy might have to be out there filming stuff. So be on the YouTube channel, Warchant TV. Subscribe to that. Don't forget, it's $1 from now until football season, or you can get an entire year of access for half off, $49.99. That's amazing. Almost not as good as getting it $1 for an entire year, but that's long gone, everybody. That's long gone.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's $49.99. Catch the fever. Jeff Cameron Show, 1 to 3 o'clock. Check that out. Warchant.com as well. Whatever Ira's doing out there, like the tweet, like the story. Give our guy some love. What a grinder that guy is, Corey, huh? What a grinder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, we're done. Best of luck to Brady. Tell him that, keep his eye on the ball or whatever. Head down. Swing big. Swing big. Swing big, Brady.
Swing for the fences. Exactly right. I'll tell him Uncle Aslan told him.
All right. He's Corey M. Aslan. Thanks for listening to Wake Up Warchant, presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.